Hey everybody, thanks for joining me here today on episode 3719 of the Cabral Concept. This is our second Cabral HouseCall of the weekend. And if you want to follow along again with the questions, head on over to stephencabral.com/3719. As always, so great to be here with you this weekend as we join each other every weekend answering our community's questions. I'm sure we've got five great ones here today. Just opening up the document my team puts together. Just want to thank my team as always. They do such an amazing job. I mean, they really do. And I am someone that really holds everyone to high standards because that's what I believe our community deserves. And so I just want to appreciate them, call them out, and let them know that they meet and exceed those standards every single day. And it's not easy. And so they do a great job. All right. First question today is from Bob. Bob says, I took the bacteria and parasite stool test, and it showed very high inflammation markers, lactoferrin, calprotectin, and lysosome, all high. I stopped all supplements except for DNS before the test and continued for over a month. By the time I got the results, I went from watery diarrhea to a more formed stool, less urgency, and went from 10 bowel movements to 3 to 5 daily, with no bowel movements after 11:30 a.m. until early the next day. What are your thoughts? Thank you for all you do. Thank you, Bob, for writing in. So, two parts to this. One is there was a lot of inflammation in the intestines that was shown on lactoferrin, calprotectin, and lysosome, and people don't necessarily need to know what those mean, but the markers were high showing inflammation. Okay, so it could have been food sensitivities. It could have been gut dysbiosis. It could have been improper bile to stomach acid flow. There's a lot of reasons why there might be inflammation in your digestive tract. I don't have your lab results. I haven't been working with you, but I'm wondering, did you eliminate some foods that were causing you to have loose stool? Or maybe you're taking some supplement that was causing loose stool. I don't know. There aren't a lot of supplements specifically that would cause loose stool. Some of them, though, would be like a Senna tea or Cascara Sagrada. But anything that disagrees with your body could cause loose stool. So I don't exactly know what the question was, except that it looked like you stopped all supplements except for your daily nutritional support. So what I would say is this. It looks like whatever you did has shown improvement. I'm assuming you ran it through Equilife. And if you ran it through Equilife, so here's the issue. A lot of people run labs from other companies, which is great. I have no issue with that. My goal is to move functional medicine and integrative health forward. The problem is that the lab results matter, but what really matters is a practitioner that can give you the plan to help rebalance your body. So for me, if I was speaking with you, I would say, okay, you have got bloating, you've got digestive issues. We're going to do the CBO protocol with the citruscytal drops. And we're just going to use the daily nutritional support, the omega-3s, and let's call it the vitamin D3. And then after that, because those aren't going to bother you. Then a couple weeks later, I'm going to add in psyllium husk. 1 scoop at first in your smoothie, your DNS. And then I'm going to add a second scoop another week or two later to make sure it doesn't affect you. And then that will hopefully slow down those bowel movements. But I want to know, is it too much caffeine in the morning that's causing these bowel movements? Is it greater stress when you wake up? I don't know, and I have to ask more questions. But hopefully I'm kind of leading you in that direction. But the CBO protocol or even a 7-day detox would allow us to know if it's food-based or stress or other. All right, Bob? So again, I can't give you medical advice, medical treatments, medical cures, medical diagnosis, but the least we could do is a 7-day functional medicine detox by Equilife. And then after that, we could do a whole gut rebalancing protocol called the CBO protocol with the citruscytal drops, just the 3 nutritional supplements, and then start to layer on other ones that you may need after that. All right? So hopefully that's helpful. Alan's up next. Dear Dr. Cabral, 1 bout of food poisoning completely destroyed my gut microbiome. And now I have to take probiotics for the rest of my life just to feel normal. How come beneficial bacteria doesn't seem to colonize and thrive as well as pathogenic bacteria? You would think that the probiotics would eventually restore the microbiome, especially over a period of years, but they never do. I always hear that they're transient and can only help you as long as you keep taking them. Why is that? Thank you. Okay, happy to answer this as well. And so I just want to kind of clear the air here as well. And that's because your gut microbiome wasn't destroyed, but it seems that it was destabilized. And again, I can't give you a diagnosis, but hopefully destabilized is not a diagnosis, right? So it became dysfunctional, which another term for that is called dysbiosis. You had an imbalance between good bacteria and bad bacteria. Good we call beneficial, bad we call either dysbiotic or negative, however you want to look at it, right? So pathogenic bacteria. So you got some type of pathogenic bacteria into your body from the food poisoning or the bad food, whatever it is that you ate, and it caused a lot of inflammation. That inflammation most likely caused loose stool, immune activity, maybe some gut permeability, and it caused this imbalance, this dysbiosis, right, inside of the gut. What happens is that inflammation then causes a low oxygen-based environment. And that typically then leads to low microbiome diversity because the bacteria that are meant to flourish at certain pHs are no longer able to flourish. The other thing that can happen is biofilms can begin to become created as well. And those biofilms start to inhibit the good bacteria and allow other bad bacteria to flow. So yes, the probiotics seem to be helping you now, which is great. But if you've never run call it the big three gut bundle, the bacteria and parasite stool test, the Candida metabolic and vitamins test, and the IgG food sensitivity test, that might be worth running. And I always say if you can only run one, run the Candida metabolic and vitamins test, right? If you run that, and ideally run the minerals and metals test along with it, we call that our starter kit or our vitamin tox test. That would be ideal so that we can see, is there yeast overgrowth? Is there bacterial overgrowth? Is there Clostridium overgrowth? If there is, we can help you with that. That's the nice thing, is that we can help you actually remove the pathogenic bacteria and then restore the beneficial bacteria so that, yes, you're taking probiotics, but eventually you can begin to wean off those if you choose to. There's nothing wrong with taking probiotics ongoing, but if you choose to, you should be able to come off. All right? So hopefully that was helpful, Alan. Without a doubt. Yes. All right, Jasmine's up next. But again, one thing if I can say to you, Alan, it's until the gut microbiome gets rid of that inflammation and you rebalance the oxygen, which is the pH of the microbiome, and the small intestine's pH is different than the large intestine, it won't be as easy for beneficial bacteria to continue to thrive on their own. And that's where the new probiotics come in. Okay. Jasmine's up next. Hi there. Thanks so much for providing this option to ask questions directly to you. Happy to help, Jasmine. My son is almost 2 and has dealt with eczema since about 16 months. Has a reaction to peanut butter that causes it to worsen. The sun, heat, and water of any sort, but especially pools and chlorine in the summer, really flare it up. He is now having early spring allergies to the pollen for the first time. Would you give me a detailed layout of what you would do if this was your child? Testing supplements and protocols, etc. I really want to help resolve this for him and get his immune system functioning at its best. Thank you so much for all you provide. I completely fixed my gut through your protocols about 10 years back and haven't looked back. Oh, that's great to hear, Jasmine. Thank you for being a part of this amazing community. And I wonder if you were with us in Boston 10 years ago, because Equalife was not even a company yet back then. It wasn't until about 2017 that I started to bring it to people outside of Boston. So that's great. All right. Yeah, let's help your son now. So eczema is typically, unlike psoriasis, eczema is typically a food sensitivity-based issue, along with certain nutrient deficiencies and sometimes some toxicity. Sometimes, but not always, not what I've seen in my practice. And we've been, the nice thing is I get to draw from 26 years of data and well over 300,000 lab tests now. And so kind of look at why these things happen. So first we look at food reactions. And the second is just like you said, some things are moisture, etc. So we do, I don't know where the eczema is, but if it's on the feet, we do specific things for the feet, like the outside of the body, we'll do baking soda soaks and other items like that. But here's what we do. We test first. We run 3 labs. The first one is the Candida metabolic and vitamins test. The second one is the minerals and metals test. Those together, I keep talking about it, but that's a starter kit, right? That's what we do for all kids. And then the third one, we do the omega-3 inflammation test. You can skip that one if you want, if you're willing to just add just a little bit of omega-3s. He's only 2 years old. Well, we actually can't do lab testing under 3 years old. Okay. Yeah, we don't do lab testing under 3 years old. So here's what we want to do. First thing we have to do is an elimination-based diet because the child's only 2 years old. And then that means we're going to get rid of the gluten, so wheat-based products, dairy-based products, corn, soy. Those are the major ones. And sometimes we'll just eliminate nuts. But we only do this for 3 weeks. It seems like a lot, but you can have rice and any type of rice-based products. You can have any type of protein in the world. You can have fruits. You can have vegetables. So it's not, you're just eliminating wheat and dairy and eggs. Sorry, I didn't mention eggs, and soy and corn. Those are the big ones. And then I know it's harder, but if you can eliminate nuts and seeds for 3 weeks, that's what you want to do. If you see dramatic improvement, it was one of those foods. And so then what do? We just gently start to add back in one of those foods that your child desires the most. And so that would be the first one. You just do it every week to 2 weeks. Was there a flare-up when adding back in this food once or twice a week? Yes, there was. Okay, that food then is the food that's not going to be ideal. So that's how I would start. You can certainly do just a little bit of omega-3 fish oil. I'm talking about 1/4 of a teaspoon. We've seen that be quite beneficial. I don't mess around with electrolytes at 2 years old. And vitamin D3, I would certainly add. You can do the children's vitamin D3, and you can do the very small dosage, which is 500 IUs. So, yep, that'd be, again, I can't give any medical advice, medical treatments, medical cures, medical diagnosis, especially not for a 2-year-old. But if we just use the math, it's 35 IUs. I don't know how much your child weighs, but let's just say at 2 years old, I don't know, maybe 30 pounds or so. So that would be, it's already over 1,000 IUs. But I would start at 500 IUs just to be safe. All right. So hopefully that's a good place to start. And obviously we want to help you, Jasmine. So just let us know how we can help. Chelsea's up next. Chelsea says, hi, Dr. Paul. My husband was told by his doctor he had low testosterone and was put on TRT, testosterone replacement therapy, about a year ago at about 1.5 mils per week. He usually takes a full dose 1 time a week, which I feel really fluctuates his hormones and doesn't seem healthy. Through learning things through my own health journey, I'm worried about his being so high. He is 6'4", 280 pounds, and built like an NFL linebacker, but his doctor seems to be fine with it as long as he's feeling good. I worry about the long-term effects this might have on him and the rest of his life. Is it possible to get him off synthetic TRT and get his natural test up on his own? Okay, so this is, I really feel like this is so dangerous. And doctors are giving out peptides and hormone replacement therapy and all sorts of things without asking why first. Like, why do I need to give this in the first place? The problem is, I don't know, Chelsea, how old your husband is. But if he's in his 30s or 40s, in my opinion, way too early for testosterone replacement therapy. Way too early. And the reason is that it shouldn't be low yet. So now there has to be a reason why. So why is the reason your husband's testosterone was low? Was it stress? Was it poor sleep? Was it nutrient deficiencies, specific toxicities, inflammation based? Like, what is going on? And the problem is, you take TRT, you feel great again, and it masks all the underlying root causes as to why your testosterone was low in the first place. This goes for both women and men. So it's actually quite dangerous because you never fix. I'm not saying TRT is dangerous, although I am if the dosage is too high. I for sure am saying that. And at 6'4", 280 pounds, you know, it's your husband's, yeah, he is built like an NFL linebacker. The problem is that that's a lot of stress on the body. So my goal with working with someone like your husband would be, first of all, if you're going to use TRT, again, I can't give medical advice, right? But I wouldn't be doing it once a week. I'd be doing a smaller dosage 2 to 3 times a week. That's what I would be doing, without a doubt. Like, and I've shared that on the Mind Pump show and a lot of interviews, and finally, people are now starting to do that, which is great. Like, that's how it should be done if you're going to do it. Coming off of it, he's been on it for about a year. And so what we would need to do is, no matter what, slowly wean down the dosage, improve the underlying root causes by running the Big 5 labs so we find out what's going on in the body, or at least the starter kit, which is called a vitamin tox test, and then boosting his own body naturally, most likely maybe using something like HCG to bring back, you know, as much natural testosterone, but really using something like daily meal support and DHEA as he's weaning down his doses of TRT. But I would work with someone on our Equal Life team, my practice, or an integrative health practitioner to help with that for sure. Yeah. You just have to be careful, just because, again, being that big just puts a lot of stress on the body, and you want your husband, and, you know, we want all of our family members to be with us a long time and stay healthy. And being healthy is not the same thing as looking healthy. Really important distinction, right? A lot of bodybuilders, unfortunately, pass away in their 50s, and they look, you know, on the outside, they might look pretty healthy. All right, Darren's up next. Good day, Dr. Brawl. I've adhered to your Himalayan or Celtic sea salt and lemon lime protocol or apple cider vinegar with water on the mornings and adding a bit of salt to a larger water bottle given active job and training. However, I saw Dr. Fung, kidney specialist, on Twitter saying, you drink a lot of water, you will pee it out. That's what your kidneys do. Speaking as a kidney specialist, I drink plain water, yes, without salt, almost every day of my life, as did virtually all humans for the last, say, million years. No, I am not worried about dehydrating myself by drinking water. This was in response to someone recommending adding salt to water in the morning, as plain salt without electrolytes can dilute sodium levels and make hydration worse. Is Dr. Fung right or wrong? Okay, well, first of all, I don't ever talk about any other practitioner because I'm not talking with that person right now, right? So this could have been in a much larger conversation. But what I can tell you is this, is that anytime you say this is right for all people, you're always going to be wrong some of the time. Time you say this is wrong for all people, unless it is detrimental advice, you're probably going to be wrong some of the time, right? So let's say someone has low blood pressure, Vata body type, ectomorph body type. They wake up, blood pressure's 94/58 or 64, right? They typically have brain fog, their body's feeling weaker. Those individuals should have some type of salt with lemon or lime if they'd like. Because that individual is already showing us that their body's lower in electrolytes, and the more water they drink, the more it will flush out more minerals from their body. That's very scientific, right, based, right? But now let's say someone's higher in blood pressure, more of a endomorph body type, kapha body type. Do they need to be drinking a lot of electrolytes? The answer is absolutely not. Absolutely not. Like I could even make I'm not gonna go into that, but you can make a very good argument for doing the opposite of that. I won't say what it is, but that's what I would say. So, no right or wrong. If you drink water, do you pee it out? Of course. Of course. Your body's going to hit homeostasis, right? So it's not going to have extra water that it needs. It will hold on to extra water if your body's inflamed. But, or if you're on a really low carb diet, it will remove more water. So like that's yes, basic physiology without a doubt. But no, some people should use a little bit of natural Gatorade, as I call it, little sea salt with lemon or lime in the morning. Apple cider vinegar, great for those people with higher levels of blood sugar typically. Apple cider vinegar, I did this on a show. That one's gonna, in the morning, you're typically gonna have that after breakfast rather than before. That's kind of the one time that you wanna look at ACV, not necessarily before meal, is first thing in the morning. And so that's that. So again, no right or wrong. It's just for who are we talking about? And that's my new book, Personomics, really talks about. Is like, who are we talking about? Are we talking about a friend, a family member, or are we talking about you? And what are you dealing with versus what they might be dealing with? And that's why we really need to get into the future of health. And I have said that as part of my tagline for the book is the future of health is personal, right? It's all about what you need versus no one else. So hopefully that was helpful, Darren. If you're more of the Vata body type, lower blood pressure, weak, lightheaded, or et cetera, upon waking, you very well might be doing the right thing for your body. So hopefully this is helpful. Thank you, everybody, as always, for tuning into another week of the Cabral Concept. I'll be back tomorrow with a brand new Mindset and Motivation Monday. Take care. Have an amazing rest of your weekend.